Welcome back. You are watching KTN Weekend Express. Many thanks for staying with us. Once again, I am in studio with the families of the 4 Kenyans who have been detained in South Sudan, imprisoned in South Sudan, together with a human rights defender, Tom Okech, Tejal Gada, a sister to Ravi Gada. We have Esther Wazome, the mother to Anthony Mwadime, who's also been detained there or imprisoned there, as well as Esther Osanya, the wife to Anthony Kea, who is among those who have been imprisoned. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. We've heard what they've said, but you're a human rights defender. You followed this case through since 2015. A situation like this happening when we have a government in place, what does that say about us?
Akisa, as a human rights advocate, what we usually do before we jump into a matter to defend it, we study the facts of the matter and get to understand it before we move in and defend anyone or any matter. So what I may want to do is to give some facts about this matter. When it's an issue of business rivalry, that's where it began. Because initially, the matter that was there was some transfer of $500 from an account of the employer of these Kenyans to supposedly some government officials, maybe to make some business happen. And when the arrest was ordered, it was supposed to be that one person to be arrested. But then when they went to arrest him at his company, they arrested everybody else that was there. Now, what has happened after that is that the matter was not proven. Then it changed. While these people were already in custody, it was changed to an audit of the transactions in the office of the president. And now the same people who had been arrested on the other matter now were being accused of, even when the audit was still being done, and all over the world, somebody would be arrested after an audit, and there is an establishment that something wrong happened, that's when people would be arrested. But in this case, these people were arrested as the audit was being done, which was an afterthought. Then you find that anybody who did not follow as the accusers would want was arrested, including government officers who gave the correct information and said, no, these things were done right. They were arrested. There are about 4 people who were arrested just because they refused to implicate these accused persons in the matters. And there is even one who was arrested just because of communicating on phone to one of the accused persons himself, and jailed for 72 years. And then they were detained from 29th of May 2015 up to the following year in February, when the matter was presented in court. And when the matter was presented in court, these Kenyans were never mentioned anywhere throughout the hearing. They were never mentioned. And you would expect a judge to release these people because nobody mentioned them, including the person who is there as the complainant did not mention, and even said he did not have a case against some of the people there. He said, he mentioned even 11 people. He said, I do not have a case against these people. But then they were not released.
So what would be the reason why they were arrested and imprisoned if they were not mentioned anywhere?
Yeah, because the case began after they were already arrested and detained. So this matter, the matter or the hearing was going on when they were in custody. And so it was not a proof that they were guilty that made them arrested. So if you look at it, it is a matter of, like I said, first, business rivalry. There are some powerful people within government who are pushing that these people must be arrested or jailed. But not, if you look at it, they are not particularly after the Kenyans. They are after their business rivals there. But then the Kenyans now are suffering.
Caught up in...
yes, collateral damage in the whole thing. But now this brings us to another point, what our government is doing about it. Because as in the letter that you have seen from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have said that they were wrongfully charged. And the process of the judicial process has been faulty all through. And the Kenyan government is friendly to the South Sudan government. And they have been working a lot on a lot of things together during the Mina campaign for the AU chair. They're working with the Southern Sudan government. The Kenyan government has even helped the Sudanese government to abduct some people here and to take back to Southern Sudan. Why won't the government of Kenya take this up and talk to the government of South Sudan? Because both the governments know these people are wrongfully held.
Yeah, okay.
Why won't our government speak to the government of South Sudan and get these Kenyans back?
Esther Azome, you are a mother. Have you, since this case began, since 2015, were you able to speak to your son in any occasion or just communicate with him?
Oh yeah, we held a hunger strike outside the FA offices, Minister of Foreign Affairs offices. Which year? 2014. 2015 October, and they called us, and Ambassador saw us and spoke to us, and she said, "You wait, don't do anything. This matter is in my office, and I'm doing everything to bring these people home diplomatically." And she said she's going to facilitate for us to go, and she did that. We went, each family, all of us, each day. We are not supposed to see them all together. We are supposed to see them all of each at one particular day. And so I traveled.
So each family had a day?
Had a day, an appointed day. So I traveled and I went and saw him. Yes.
What did you see? What was his state? How did he look like? What did he say?
Those are the days that we had campaigned in the streets, and we had been told they were on 1 meal a day. So you can imagine how we are. We have photos of them. Photos of them as small as a child. Those people are looking terrible. Because we went with the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Juba, 2 officials, and we were called in a room where those investigators were, and they said we can go and see them each outside, somewhere in a small room. So I was called. I was the first, and I went. But they were placed somewhere just near the path where I was going across. And I didn't see them, because all of them, they looked different. And they told me, "Why did you pass your son?" I said, "Where is he?" They said, "Look outside," and point him. And I said, "Where is he?" They said, "He's out there. You don't know him?"
You couldn't recognize your
I
son?
couldn't recognize him. To say the truth, I couldn't recognize him. And then when he came in, he was brought in, and we are all of us with the investigators. There's no way you can speak to him alone. So there was nothing he told me. He just told me, "Mom, when am I coming home?" I didn't know what to tell him.
Okay. Ravi, did you travel to see? Did you travel to see Ravi?
The same time when she went, my father had traveled as well at that particular time. And my dad couldn't recognize his son either. They were on 1 meal a day, very unkempt, and health-wise as well, he didn't look stable. But as she said, they were only given 5 minutes, in which 5 minutes he could only pray and give him support that we will get you home. And then that was in 2015. I traveled last year in September to see him and the rest of the Kenyans, and it was the same state where all 4 of them were brought out, and some had cuts in their hands, some had bruises on their legs, and I didn't have the guts to ask them what had happened to them. But the only thing the 4 Kenyans asked me is that, what is the government doing about us? We know that they're aware we're innocent, because there was a consular officer attending the court sessions, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had told the families that they're aware the Kenyans have no mention in court. That means they don't have a case to answer. And I couldn't explain why the government is not doing anything about their release. All I could tell them is that we will not stop until you guys are brought home. But it was the worst sight that I had of them.
Esther, you saw your husband. I don't know whether you managed to travel with your son.
Never managed to travel either because of financial issues, and also my son was sick, I remember. So that time I never managed to go and see him. I don't know his status. I don't know.
So for you, you have not seen him since he went to work?
Yeah, since 2015, January 5th, up to now. I don't know his condition, nothing.
What runs through your head?
A lot of stuffs, because sometimes I do ask myself why these things are happening to me, because I remember before they were being taken in, he was suffering from bronchitis and there was other medication. So, and also my mother-in-law is sick. She has arthritis, of which we require some huge amount of money for her medication. So things have been so tough. Even I remember that time I never had a job. I was just relying on my parents until last year, October is when I landed a job. So it has been so tough, and you know, you have to support your kid, though he is with my parents, but that is what I have never wished. I really wish to be with my family, and when seeing someone for the past now 2 years, almost 3 years now, it's so agonizing, it's so hectic. You never know if you'll see this person. It's been tough, quite tough, very tough. And we are wondering why the government is not doing anything. Yeah, it's so silent. Even after the vigil, we've not heard anything from the Foreign Affairs, nothing. Sometimes you just wish you'll wake up one day and these things are over. Maybe sometimes I do ask myself, am I dreaming or is it a reality? But it's reality. And it's in a foreign jail. You don't know what they're going through. Fine, us we are free here, we can walk, we can talk, we can travel from one place to another, but that is South Sudan, and you know, it's not a peaceful country. They've been having war each and every day. So you never know if these people, are they eating, are they sleeping, are they showering, are they getting proper medication? It's so tough. You can't sleep. In fact, you just have sleepless nights. And at least if they could be here, at least we could have arranged for us to go, or any family member to go and see him. But now imagine traveling from here to South Sudan. Maybe you require something like 20 to 30K, of which will you travel, will you support your kid, will you support your parents-in-law? You don't know. So it's so tough. Yeah. And you cannot just say that, okay, I'll travel and get back here safe. Yeah.
Tom, Tijal mentioned something about when they went and saw their families there. She's mentioned seeing them with cuts, seeing them with bruises. They all agreed that their condition was not what you would like to see your family. So are we thinking there could be torture involved?
Yeah, definitely. And torture can even be torture of the mind, psychological torture, where they're held, that could lead to torture. The kind of foods they're being served and how many meals a day, that is all torture. So they have gone through a lot of torture up to now. And again, another thing is that they are not even sure what's going on, because if it was a judicial process that is understandable, that would be okay. Even the lawyers are threatened in court, not even out of court. The lawyers are threatened in court, and some have withdrawn from the case because they cannot be able to represent these people. So the witnesses have been threatened, and some of them withdrew. So there is a lot of torture that has been going on. And that's why we have we have visited every other office in Kenya that would help in this, the Office of the Ombudsman, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and it is the Kenya National, it is the Kenya Human Rights Commission that has gone sued the government, not the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. There's,
it's the KHC.
It's the KHRC. That has gone to court. So all these are efforts towards ensuring, or first of all, awakening the government entities that are supposed to respond to this, to act, and also to keep the public aware, because there has also been misinformation. Like sometimes the story will come out like they have been charged for defrauding the South Sudanese government. That's not the case. They have not defrauded the South Sudanese government. Yeah, the case is about fraud of somebody who employed them. Like you, Akisa, you're here. If something happened here, maybe this there is an arsonist in your farm here, and this place was burned down, and you would be questioned as one of the people who are there. But then, if the arsonist is convicted, you cannot be convicted of the arsonist just because you are there at that particular time when that happened. So this is the case of what's happened with the Kenyans there, that just because they were employed by somebody that has been accused, now they are being accused there. And the judge was very wrong that everybody is jailed for life. Whether you are mentioned, whether you did, whether you earned or benefited from whatever funds they're talking about, everybody was jailed for 72 years. And it looks like it is political. It's like a directive that was given to the judge, jail these people. Yeah. So this is something that if followed up, I believe if our government or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs followed this up keenly, then they would be able to get these Kenyans off the hook. And what we have seen the ministry doing is maybe showing the public, like they have even released some photos recently, showing that they have been able to visit these Kenyans in jail. But this is to inform the public that they are doing their work. While when they visited after the pressure that has been put here. And how does that help? The photos they released has now made the government on the other side to say nobody's going to visit them. Because they went there, took photos and released to the media. Now, nobody can visit the other side. Some people went there to visit, they can't visit them.
You're saying they've been banned from visiting them now?
Yeah, that's the case now. So we don't know what's going to happen after that.
So if anything, I will take you through just to add on what Tom has said. We held a vigil on Monday. So we started off, we've dropped several letters to the head of state because we now feel that the ministry is not able to assist us.
Yes, actually, take us through the things you have done to try, the letters you've sent, the protests you've made, the hunger strikes. Just take us through that.
So after they were sentenced to life imprisonment, we actually went to Foreign Affairs, to which we got no assistance. So we then went to the Parliament and we had an audience with Honorable Aden Duale. He sympathized with the families because he's aware Kenyans are being mistreated in South Sudan. So he actually drafted a question to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs asking why this had happened, to which the Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded saying the government is aware that they've been wrongfully convicted. There was no evidence that should have led to their life imprisonment. However, they're using diplomatic channels. This was 4th of July, only to be given hope that the government is now aware they're innocent, something will happen. But nothing happened. So we started drafting letters and we personally delivered them to the State House on several occasions, to the Office of the President, to the Deputy Office as well. We never got a response. So on Monday, we actually had the adverts on Nation and Standard, full page, to get his attention because we weren't aware why he was not responding. And we then had a prayer vigil outside Foreign Affairs. And we expected that at least now we were going to get the attention, to which we never got any attention. So the government, till to date, has not responded or even managed to give us an audience and explain to us what is going on. So when we had the vigil, the next day, Foreign Affairs actually released photos of our Keens through Citizen TV. So it's not that the families were actually addressed to be given these photos, but they leaked it on social media, saying that the ambassador is actually visiting our Kenyans and that they're doing something about this case. But visiting is not helping because they've been sentenced for life, right? So because of that, our friends and family who are in South Sudan tried to visit the Kenyans on Friday and they were refused. Nobody's ever going to be allowed to see these Kenyans. So if anything, the government is actually jeopardizing the situation for our people.
I feel like they're making it worse.
Yes, they're actually making it worse. So not being able to visit these Kenyans, we will never know what's happening, because if anything, we were relying on the family members and friends we have in South Sudan to give us information about our Kenyans. So we're wondering, why is the government doing PR stunts when it's a matter of 4 lives?
Asazome, do you agree with that? When you went there, were some of the rules you were given, don't take photos, don't post any photos? Because you've gone there twice as families, we've not seen any photos on social media from you guys.
We were not even supposed to take our phones in there. You have to be searched. You just take whatever, your handkerchief, you have a handkerchief. That's only what you take. It's a room that is soundproof. Nobody can hear from outside. Mm-hmm. Tiny room. It's so sad for us that when we ask the government to tell us about our people, they cannot tell us about our people. We are here going around in offices, in media, crying for our people, in the streets, and the ambassador has a photo of our people. He has put in his office in a file that he has seen our people, and he is not telling us. We are wondering, how are they? They know, and they put a photo saying, okay, those people are healthy. We don't want them to be healthy. We just want them home. And if he had called us and told us, okay, we have a photo, these are your people, what is it putting a photo on Twitter?
Asa, hold it together. Asa, what was life before Anthony was arrested? How would you compare life before and now?
He was so supportive, so caring. We never lacked anything. At least even he was supporting the mom and sisters and his brothers back home. But eventually things changed abrupt. As they say, life can change in a second. That is what happened to me. I remember I had traveled for a burial. I lost my cousin through an accident in 2015.
Sorry about
and
that.
I traveled with my son, and we were in communication. I remember he told me, don't go back to Nairobi. I'm coming from Juba. I'll pick you from there, then we'll come to Nairobi. So after a while, I tried calling him, and his phone was not going through. So I managed to call to get hold of a friend, a colleague, and first of all, he lied to me. He said, okay, they just went to have fun somewhere and they're coming back. So after trying to call, the colleague switched off the phone, and I contacted someone here in Kenya to confirm what's going on in Juba. Mm-hmm. So eventually, that is how, through family members, I was told that they've been detained, of which I just knew that it's just something for a short while, they'll be released. So that time I never had a job, I was just a housewife. And I traveled back here to Nairobi after a month. That is how we started arranging how we'll do it, how the government will assist us. So I was, sometimes I had to wake up so very early in the morning, prepare my son. In fact, that time he was sick, on, off. So waking him at that particular time, he was around, I think, 9 months. 10, not 9, almost 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, yeah, I remember. So it wasn't that easy. Sometimes he trains, sometimes even finding someone who can babysit your child. Mm-hmm. It was so difficult for me. I remember even that time that we had a hunger strike, I was with my son, and I went to the ambassador's office, and she told me not to, again, to come with my son. It was so difficult. Even I remember one family member asked her how she doesn't have anyone to leave the baby with. I had to travel. I had to go from one office to another with my baby until my dad said it's enough, you just bring the baby home. So I went last year, July. I left my baby there. At least I know he's in safe hands, but he doesn't know the dad. So sometimes he knows my dad is his dad. He has never seen the dad even talk to him. So I wonder, how will I explain? How will I start? Because if truly they could have been having this money, I'm very sure no one here will be suffering the way we are suffering right now. Sometimes even getting just a little 5 and 100 shillings to go for this meeting, so hectic. Sometimes you do sacrifice your job. I remember the first job I was sacked because of these meetings, going for meetings from one point to another. No one will understand. No one will understand how we are going through unless you are. I know no one will be in our shoe, but us, we feel how hectic it has been for 3 years, looking for justice, knowing that, okay, we have to do these things for their sake. I don't know how he is. If I'm not fighting for him, who will? No one. And at least maybe doing this, sometimes I know it's hard for them, but at least keeping them, because we don't know, sometimes you're depressed, sometimes you're stressed, some of us, we are sick, but we just have to work extra hard for the government to know these people are innocent, they should bring them home. It has been, because, okay, they are not affected in any way, but as family members, those are Kenyans. If other countries can fight for their people, if it could be, let's say, US or America, no one of its citizens will be there, but us, we've fought. The government even is not responding. Okay. Till when? We've been at the foreign affairs countless times. We went to the office of the president, none. We've gone to offices and offices.
Okay, Esther. There are Kenyans who are watching and they would like to speak to you guys. I understand we have a call from Isaiah Ondiek from here in Nairobi. Isaiah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm also sympathizing with the Kenyans who are in Southern Sudan. But there is something that we need to put it clear. Like right now, as we have seen, all the procedures have been illegal. Good morning.
Yes, we can hear you. Speak.
Yeah, I'm also taking this opportunity to sympathize with our Kenyans who are held illegally in Southern Sudan.
Okay.
But I hope this one, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and including the President himself, must take up the matter seriously, because we can't wait and see our fellow Kenyans being tortured and being detained in a country whereby we have seen very many Southern Sudanese who live here, even my neighbors. They even go and misbehave here and nobody has been even helped them. They don't even have documents. But we are friends with them and we understand what problem they have in their homes. So please, I ask the government, more especially the president, to take up the matter and leave jokes. He cannot tell us that he doesn't know what to do. He should take a step right now and communicate with the Southern Sudan and to tell them, even those Southern Sudan who are held here in Kenya, we can even exchange those detainees. They take the Sudanese and we have them here, our Kenyans here. If they have done wrong, we are also a country that observes the law. So if they did wrong, they can be charged here in Kenya, where the process is clean and where the process can be monitored with the law experts and lawyers.
Okay.
So please, I request the president. This is where now the Foreign Affairs Ministry, we have been saying Amina Mohammed is performing. This is where we want to see the performance of Amina Mohammed. Not running every country that you are looking for votes whereby you cannot manage a case of 4 Kenyans. You see the way that mother is crying. I'm also crying the way I'm talking. It's something that pains me when somebody who went to look for his family for a green pasture is being detained for no good reason. And the country where we have the president who is not taking any step. Please, 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 Mr. President, if you hear me and the Foreign Affairs Minister, Mohammed, please take a step and free these people. This thing has even affected me. Thank you.
Isaiah, thank you very much for speaking to us. That is a caller, Isaiah Ondieki there, speaking to us from here in Nairobi. Tom, Kenyans have been sympathizing with this case. It makes a trending topic on the social media all the time. At least from as far as Kenyans, there seems to be support. But as a human rights defender, what are some of the things that you plan on doing as we pursue this case?
I'll pick from something that Mr. Ondieki has just mentioned. He spoke about what action the president is taking. Yeah. We all remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta, when they were at the ICC, he declared that no Kenyan will ever be charged in a foreign court and held in a foreign jail. And as citizens, we would expect a president to follow up on his words and ensure that no Kenyan is charged out there. And in this case, once we're not guilty, innocent Kenyans are being incarcerated in a foreign country where he has the wherewithal to be able to bring them back, and he's not doing that. So this is wrong because a government exists to serve its people. Yes. A government exists to protect its people, and this is one of the things that the government needs to do to its people. So one thing is that we have planned to keep up the pressure on all fronts until we ensure that these Kenyans are back here. We will keep reminding the president every day that this is his duty.
Okay.
The Foreign Affairs Ministry works under the president, and we believe he's informed of what is going on. He is well briefed, and he knows what's going on. So sometimes we even accuse Amina that Amina is not doing her work. But we've published in the newspapers, we've been on the media, we've been talking about it. The president is aware. Why is the president not acting? Okay. This rests at the desk of the president. That's where I put it. All right. It rests at the desk of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Okay. And he needs to act. The ball is in his court. Yes.
Let's speak to another caller, Nabil, calling us from Thick, of course, before we get to our closing remarks. Nabil, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very fine. Yourself?
I'm good.
Yes.
But I feel really bad. I'm in pain to hear what these people are going through.
We all are.
And my prayers are going to them. And I hope the president... Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I hope the president and deputy president would listen to these cries of these people. I mean, it's so sad. My tears are dropping from my eyes at the moment. Talking to you like this, it's so hard. Please, let them know, let Kenyans know that they should put themselves in their shoes and feel the pain. For God's sake, the president and deputy president, please listen to their cries. Yeah. Nabil. That's all what I want to say. It's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you guys. But I can't talk anymore.
Nabil, thank you so much for calling.
Yes.
Nabil there, a caller speaking to us from Thika. I understand we don't have too much time. It's too emotional. I don't know whether you guys will be able to say the closing remarks, but what would you want to tell the president and the government as a whole as your closing remarks? Who would go first? Who's strong enough to speak? You able to speak, Teja?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the Kenyans that are actually supporting us at this particular point. I think it is just with your support that we've come so far, and we have promised our boys that we will not give up. So thank you so much for your support. I think my only appeal goes to the president and the deputy president of this country. We're still appealing for your intervention. We have exhausted all other means, and we still look out for you as the head of state of this country. We need your intervention. These boys are innocent, and the government is aware that they're innocent. Kindly assist us to bring these boys back home. We don't want any other unforeseen circumstances, but bring them home while they're still alive. Thank you.
Esther?
I just want to appeal to all Kenyans, especially today is Sunday. We came here, though it is a Sunday, we are supposed to be in churches too praying. But you who are in church, please pray for these Kenyans. Right now we don't know what is happening, for we have no information about them. We just ask for your prayers. And to our president, we know he's a good person. We know he's a good person. And if he hears us, I know he'll do something.
We hope he's watching and listening to you guys.
We hope so.
Yes, Esther, finally.
Okay, I have to be strong for my son and my mother-in-law who is sick. And I'm appealing, if possible, even I can kneel down, just to the president, for him to hear our cries for once. It has been tough for us. I know no one can feel our pain, but sometimes you lack even food to put in your stomach because you really have to run each and every day so that these people could be brought home. My husband, Anthony, was the breadwinner of his family and my little family. So I just urge the president, please, and for the Kenyans who are watching, please pray for us and just try to help us to push through this matter so that these people can be home very sound and safe, because we don't know, we don't want them to be the issue that happened to Zach who died in a foreign jail. It's not our wish, and it's neither their prayer for them to be in jail, and no one wishes to be the same. We know many Kenyans have died in South Sudan, and they must take this issue to be so serious, not posting their pictures of which it is really affecting us psychologically and in every way. So we just relying on our president, and above all, the one who created us, who has made them to be alive until today. He's still pushing it through, and we know one day they'll come back home, though we don't know when. But our Creator, our God Jehovah, is always with us each and every day.
Thank you very much for coming in. We'll have to end the show from that point. Tom Okech is a human rights defender. Tejal Gadai, sister to Ravi Gada, who was imprisoned in South Sudan. We have Esther Mwazome, the mother to one of the victims, as well as Esther Osanya, wife to Anthony Kerr. Esther Mwazome is mother to Anthony Mwadime. Esther Osanya is the wife to Anthony Kerr. And we hope their cries, I mean, it's been a very emotional show. We hope their cries would get to the right ears as they continue fighting for justice. We continue to support you guys. Kenyans continue to support you from the calls we've gotten. We wish you well with that. This was KTN Weekend Express. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here. My name is Akisa Wandera. Next is News Track. Don't go too far.